no way to record this time. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised that the only one who's saying anything so far is Callie. I mean, Ina's streamed at 6, so she probably said something. But I only look at clips, and you can't go back on all live streams. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wait for the clip then to happen. You know what, that's also probably why they do clips as well, since you can't go back. Maybe if the stream's already up, you can go back. That might be a thing you can do. I don't know. But that might have been another like thing to like incentivize them to make clips. Think about it. But yeah, I really thought we'd get more. Cause yeah, it's Gura, so like I thought everybody would have said something about it, but I guess not. Well, to be fair, also like all of EN like had collabs, either like today or like tomorrow, essentially, right? Like their next stream was a collab, which I don't think was intentional. I mean, even Callie said like, oh, we didn't know the announcement happened this day, so I'm pretty sure it was fairly unintentional if even Callie didn't know. Because I feel like Callie would be one of the first to know if it was talked about. So there's that. Yeah, again, just like I really thought there'd be more on it. Maybe that's something like we'll touch up on Friday or something. But yeah, like I've not been on Twitter or at least seen like the trending stuff. I've seen V Shoujo, which is probably related to this. Oh, these are like them themselves. Oh, I think I want Gura to sign to V Shoujo. Just like, why? You know what she should do after having been super stressed out from a corporation? Go to another corporation. That sounds like a good idea. Like, why? Because yeah, and it's gonna get to what I'm saying, because I did listen to Gura's announcement. But yeah, like it's just with all the doomerism, like I just don't see it. Like with all the testimony that they've all said, and like the members themselves have said, and like all the other stuff we know, like I just don't see how it's due to like a lack of like a mismanagement thing. It could be like a small role, right? Like maybe it's a small role. But like I think people just take the like, oh, disagreements in like direction or whatever, and like they just take that and run with it. Which, to be fair, like yeah, I think under normal circumstances it would mean, like I don't think people are wrong to like take that route initially, you know, because that is probably what it's supposed to mean. But I think I started to catch on, even like Callie mentioned it when she was talking about it, is that at this point disagreements with management is just a catch-all thing. It's basically going to be like the PB&J, right, with the like graduation announcement. It's just that's going to be the reasoning. It's just going to be disagreements with the company or like management, whatever. And yeah, I think Cover does do that, right, to like give the talents a bit more of an out to protect them. But I think it is getting to the point where they're doing it too much, and I think it's actually hurting their reputation at this point. Because of how much they're doing it, right? So like the only thing now, or I've freaking phased out. But I forgot what I was going on about. Yeah, like I think the only way for them to rebuild that reputation is either like you get into people's heads that like disagreeing with management's a catch-all thing, which I don't think that will catch on, or you need to every once in a while say like tell the talents like actual reasoning. Because when I was listening to Gura's, it did not sound like it was disagreements with management, like, right? Like I feel like you would think they'd even like hint at it a little bit. I am curious of how like the Niji girls like handled it, or like members. I'm curious how they handled like when they were leaving, because they even like voiced their grievances in like member streams, right? That was how people found out how bad it was with Pomu, right? Because Pomu made all of her stream public. And like, yeah, I think there was times she was crying on stream because management wouldn't let her do stuff she wanted. And it seemed like Fauna didn't have that because her member stream should be public, and yeah, there wasn't a big stink about it. So it seems to me that Fauna didn't have it at least as bad as Pomu did, which, to be fair, a low bar, but they exceeded it. That's another thing I feel like that could also play into the like disagreements with management being a catch-all thing, right? Or at least like them having no ill will, you know, or as much as like a Niji member would probably, right? But yeah, I forget how I was gonna loop this all back around, but oh yeah, like so in Gura's announcement, like immediately after she said her reasoning, like she immediately went to like, oh, I had a bunch of stress, right? And like, or at least like implied heavily, like she had a bunch of stress, and it basically was there the entire time she was there. And it seems like it just basically got to the point where it's too much now, which like is entirely fair, and it's also why I feel like you could have let Gura say her actual reasoning. Sure, maybe there were smaller things, but I think if that was the actual reasoning of like she's stressed out and then just can't take it anymore, I think people would have accepted that. But yeah, also like she made Reflect, right? And I think 2021 the song itself came out. I think the music video was, let me check my dates. I am gonna have to mute it, but let me check my dates on that. Make sure I'm not screwing it up. Okay, so this is the original song itself. This is without the MV. Yeah, it's premiered June 2021, right? And her writing it would likely have been even earlier than that, right? Writing the lyrics to the song. And the reason why I bring this up is like people being like, oh, like Yago sold his soul or something like that, like freaking John Cena did, and it's like, I don't think they did, right? Because like, why would, like, I think they went public in like 2023, 2022, right? It was definitely not 2021. I think it was like 2022, 2023 they went public. I'll just look it up. When ever Corp go public? Yeah, it was March 2023. So like, she had the stress with her like 2 years, like in these feelings 2 years before they went public, right? Going public had nothing to do with Gura's decision, I think, right? It was going to be an inevitable thing. I guess I shouldn't say of nothing, it was going to be inevitable anyway, of her leaving. That's just the reality, I think, of what it was. And again, like the ones that say like, oh, I always wanted to be an idol, I don't really know how to interpret that. To me it seems like that's just like, oh, like I like doing it, but it's like second to like streaming or whatever. Like that's how I took Fauna's, because she did say like outward, like streaming is her dream job, and she said it's not that I don't want to be an idol and stuff like that. Yeah, like Fauna could have been like the one that actually had disagreements, because another interesting thing is like she never compliments staff, whereas like I think a lot of the other members who have left recently like have complimented the staff. So that was something that always like interested me, that Fauna never brought that up, but I also don't know if it's just because Fauna never brought up management like at all, so it just kind of fits in line with that. Again, I wasn't there long enough really to like know their day-to-day stuff, you know, but there's just gonna be so many reactionary people to this, especially since it's Gura, right? So they're gonna look at this first and then see like, oh, this has been like a trend for the past 9 months, right, of like people leaving, so then it's gonna make them look even worse from the outside. And like, Yeah, no, I think all of them, as someone pointed out in like one video, how they're talking about how they're not giving doomerism, right? Because they even were like, in their thing, they thought there was some mistreatment going on, but like, again, except maybe for Fauna, I don't think there has been. All the rest of them seem like they would have been kind of inevitable. I don't know about Aqua, right? I wasn't there for Aqua. I didn't start watching JP clips until after Aqua, I think, already left, right? Because yeah, it was Holo JP or Holo GTA that made me start watching JP clips, and Aqua, I believe, was already gone by then. So yeah, that's when that was. Yeah, like it just doesn't, it just seems off, right? Whenever people were like, oh yeah, no, like Yago sold his soul or whatever, like all the other testimonies from the talents just don't make sense. Like they kind of contradict what these people with no knowledge are saying, because I think another important thing is we have like 5%, if even that, of what goes on, right? We know like maybe 5%. So like it's so stupid. It's like going through the FNAF floor, right, and being like, oh, I solved it. It's like, no, you didn't. You don't know that, right? Because there's gonna be some pieces here that contradict what you're saying, right, and other pieces here contradict another thing. Like, you don't know that. You can't just full confidence be like, yep, this is what happened. Like, no, you don't know that. I will say, even like I saw a video, right, and it was when Chloe and Fauna were leaving, on like they looked at how many, like the percentage of sales of like the different aspects that they were getting money from, the ratio of revenue they were getting, and they pointed out that in 2020 2021 they made a ton of their money from streaming, and then 2022 2023, I think even like 2024, it's like gone way over to the merchandise side. But I feel like even then that doesn't tell anything, because in 2020 it was the biggest year for streaming. You can even look like Twitch numbers. Like Twitch numbers were at their highest at I mean, now it's YouTube, but like I assume YouTube streaming numbers were wait, let me see, like YouTube streaming numbers. If I do like, yeah, YouTube stats and analytics on stream charts, gotta verify I'm human. So yeah, if we go to YouTube, is there a way I can look at like by week? There's by month. So yeah, I did want to like, I wanted to go further out. Yeah, also top YouTube VTubers is all Hololive, which is funny. Yeah, I wanted to go like a little bit further out and just like general YouTube stats, because I know on like Twitch, right, like they peaked at 2020 and then the numbers went back down. I'm gonna say like 2020 to present. Maybe that will give me like an image, maybe. I mean, the amount of users went up, but like, I think that's including people who just made an account, right? So, oh yeah, it peaked in 2021 actually. So yeah, this would have been YouTube Gaming Live, which I assume is freaking where technically YouTube streaming. And yeah, it peaked in 2021 actually, Q1. Well, that's Q1. Yeah, this was probably like either right when COVID was starting or like right before, so it makes sense that this one's higher. Yeah, like I don't think it's actually like gone back up since then, because I'm pretty sure Twitch like has their own statistics like themselves, which is why it's like a little annoying. It's revenue. Yeah, I don't think it's a good measure anyway of just being like oh yeah, like they made the most from their streaming in 2020, in like 2021. Like, of course they did. And also the thing is, like, they were much smaller. Like, sure, they were hitting a boom period in 2020, but it still takes time, right, to make a merch team, like a merch department. So, like, yeah, of course, like, it's gonna be a bit, even if they're, like, already super popular in 2020, 2021, to make merch and, like, mass produce it. Because I think also, I think they were pretty much only selling it on their website. Right, it wasn't easily accessible. I assume now, like with Hololive, especially in like probably like Japan, you can probably like go to places in person and buy like Holo merch. But it wasn't like that before, right? Especially when it's COVID, right? Because, you know, you can't really go to many stores. So yeah, I think using that as like a, like, oh, there's an obvious transition. Like, I don't think that works. And also, like, why would Cover still have like rules of streaming 3 times a week? Or like, they put Suisse in streaming. Why would they bring on Gigi and Shiori, right? Like, because they went public in beginning 2023, right? That was before Advent or Justice debuted, and Regloss. That's another thing. Why would they debut a music branch and not tell them it's a music branch? And I think some of them had no music background. Like, why would they do that if they're trying to be an idol company? You would think they would get people with musical background. Now, granted, they got some. Hajime and Kanade, I think, did. And then Flow Glow, I think, like, a couple of them do as well. But, like, why wouldn't it be all idols? Or, like, why wouldn't with Justice and Advent, right? Like, they probably could have gotten better people in the idol sphere than Gigi and Shiori, right? But they're great streamers. That's why. It even, like, says it, like, that still helps you get into Holo, is being a good streamer. If you go over the Holo Stars, the most important thing they say is be, like, excel in gaming, basically. Or, like, live streaming. So, like, that's basically them, right? So, like, why would they be switching over to an idol, like, thing? Or also, with Suisse, like, kind of throwing in, like, they were thinking of making a, like, form of you saying, like, oh, I want to be in the music part or the streaming part. Why would they do that if they're doing an idol group? They wouldn't do that. It would just be like, okay, we're all idols now. They're not doing that, right? They still prioritize streaming. Or maybe not prioritize, but, like, they still care about it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, maybe with Fauna leaving, I was like, sure, maybe there's, like, some kind of shift, but, like, I don't think there is. Like, when you actually, like, think about it. And, like, observe, you know? And yeah, like, as I said before, like, I think all these people leaving are inevitability, like, and people need to start realizing Holo is old. You know? Like, it's getting boring, at least in, like, the content sphere. It's getting pretty old. Like, even with Gen 2, they were talking about stuff that, oh yeah, it was the first time Ayame did stuff in 7 years. They've been around for 7 years. And you need to start realizing that. These people have been around for a while. Right? Gura's been around for like 4.5. Let me look up like the average job length. Average job length. 3.9 years. Like, yeah. Oh, that's median actually. Median is 3.9. That is probably the best way to do it. But yeah. Like, that's just how a job works, you know? Like, and even with like how like Shiori phrased it and how Bae phrased it, I'd be like, oh, there's still some things I want to accomplish before I leave, right? Like, that's how they phrased it. Like, they are taking it as a job, they're treating it as a job, right? And so once they've done everything they wanted, they're gonna go. Which, yeah, I will say with Bae, it surprised me, but Bae probably has loftier stuff, I'd say, than Shiori. Not to like discredit Shiori or anything, but Bae's are probably more like shooting higher. And like, yeah, there's nothing wrong in like having less lofty goals, right? It's just I would think that's how it would be, but yeah. Like, and another reason why I just want to talk about this is just like, this is how you just become a reactionary, right? And like, being a reactionary is very dangerous. Like, you really need to stop and think, you know? Stop and think about this stuff, because when I stopped and thought about this stuff, like, yeah, then I became a lot more like calm about it, you know? Like, even with Gura leaving. Because the thing is also, like, I feel like people are freaking out because apparently I think Hollow's stocks like fell a lot once Gura left. Like, the thing is also, like, other than merch purposes, like, Gura wasn't really around that much, or like showing up for like the occasional 3D live. So like, I think Hollow's gonna be like a lot more, right? I guess I just don't know how much like Gura merch there is, because I feel like Gura was probably like their Mario or Mickey Mouse, right? But I'm not entirely sure. Right, like, I haven't lived in Japan or anything, you know? But like, I think they'll be fine. It's how I said before, it's like if Durant left the Warriors, you know? I said if, when he did. Right? Like... And yeah, I know Ludwig reacted to it too, and like, that's another problem is like, I don't blame him because yeah, it is a pretty big deal, and I was kind of glad like when his chat was saying I don't care, like he was getting his chat to care. I did like that. Because it is a big deal, right? Like this me being calm, right? Like it's not just completely rejecting it, you know, like obviously it's a big deal. That essentially the face of VTubing like is no longer there, you know. But yeah, like I will say it was probably a lot of reactionary stuff from Ludwig, because again, he probably didn't see the other stuff with Hollow, right? And like, I don't blame him, because, and it's like another issue with like Gura happening in the middle of this wave, right? Is now people are gonna look back and see the other ones happen recently and be like, oh, they're falling apart. Like they're gonna dog on Yago and Hollow even more, and it's just like, well, yeah, like, and the thing is, I've been a fan since June 2024, right? Like, I haven't been like a fan for a while. I probably should have been a 2020 fan. Don't know how that didn't happen. I think my social anxiety towards girls was like still really bad. That's probably why. I think back to like that like one main channel video I did. I think it was probably partly due to that. But yeah, like, even I feel like, just with my little experience, right? I haven't been a fan for a year. You know, it feels like it's been a lifetime, right? But it's only been like a year I've been a fan, not even. And like, I feel like we can like chill a little bit. Because again, like, I'm listening to what the talents have to say, you know? And like, why would the talents stay or feel like want to stay or like want to expand Hololive's influence, as Kanata and Lamy did in one clip, talking about how Kelly was at Osaka Expo, right? They talk about like, oh yeah, let's expand Hololive's influence even more, right? Like, they were super into it. Like, why would they do that if it was a bad company? These are like the questions you gotta ask yourself. Why would they still be there, right? And if they're being an idol company, why would they hire Gigi and Shiori? Because they didn't have singing or dancing experience. I guess you can give Council and Myth the pass because it's before they went public, but like, Shiori and Gigi are literally afterward. Like, they're after that. And Raura too. Like, Raura is another one that I think probably didn't have much singing and dancing experience. Also, none of them really had like good Japanese speaking skills. It's interesting that they still put that on the sheet. Well, I mean, just seeing on the main page, the fact that like it didn't have Gura's like updated 3D sprite at all is probably very telling. But Like they probably haven't updated since like they started making the open audition, which is probably like 2021 or something. But yeah, I think what cover should do, because I think this is just gonna be the new norm for Hollow now, right? Like they're old enough that this is just gonna happen. There's just gonna be a revolving door constantly of new people coming in, right? And some people have long tenures, some people have short tenures. And I think what they should do is like, if they find talents they can't pass up on, right? That they want to join, yeah, sign them on, right? But I do think you focus more on the interior as much as you can. Like again, I'd say still look at the applications, because again, EN lost 4 members in 1 year, right? So it would make sense to refill that, right? Like it's not necessarily a void, right? Because EN still has, was like 16, 17? I think less actually, right? Because wasn't like, hang on, 5 virus, and then there's 5 more, right? So it was 11. Event is 16, just as 20. And then minus 5 would be 15. There's 15 of them. Quick math. So yeah, there's 15 of them still, right? So there's still quite a bit. Oh yeah, another thing too, why are Hollow Stars still there? Right? They've flat been the ones that have been like probably the most vocal about their treatment. And also they recently talked about how their treatment was getting better. That's another thing. Like people being like, oh, they sold their soul. Like I'm pretty sure there are recent clips of Hollow Star, like Hollow Star's members saying like their management is getting better, right? And okay, well this is all of them being frustrated with it. Great. But like I'm pretty sure there was more recent ones. It's more lighthearted one. Yeah, I do know they're also very understaffed. They did say that Toa in this, so but I'm pretty sure there was an Octavio one. Let me look up Octavio. Maybe if I throw that in there. I think Octavio talked about it. Talks about the management. Yeah, I think it was this one. Yeah. There was a clip of Octavio talking about them getting better from a month ago. I think it's like 2 months ago at this point, because I remember seeing this. Yeah, from March 2nd. Oh, it was like a month and a half ago. Okay. But yeah, like it is getting better. So like, why would they also leave? You know, or like why is like the whole thing of like, oh, they're selling their soul, right? Like, why is that a thing? Like, it wouldn't make much sense for management to get better on the Stars side, right? But get worse for live? That doesn't make much sense. And yeah, with them saying like they're understaffed, I almost wonder if like their poor management was just because like, I mean, if there's one part to understaff, unfortunately, it's probably Hollow Stars, since they are the lowest performing, right? So I wonder if that was part of it. It's just because Hollow Stars was heavily understaffed. Or like they were understaffed, but like the understaffedness, they put it over on the Hollow Stars side, which is why their management was so bad. And why it's getting better now is that they're actually getting more employees. Yeah, definitely need to staff themselves well, you know. Make sure that's still happening. Yeah, it's just gonna be very annoying because this stank on HoloLive is probably gonna stay for a while. Even though, again, there's like been no warning signs, like alarm bells ringing for me. Because like I always point out too, but like it's gonna be so obvious when the alarm bells are gonna go off, right? You have Callie leave, like, and you have these certain members that would leave, right? Unless it's like due to medical or the retirement. Fubuki, Callie, Luna, Marin. Like you have so many like examples. Like any of them that worked in the Black Company prior, probably. You have so many examples, right? Of like if they are leaving, like, and it's not necessarily due to like what would be like stress, like health issues. I mean, stress is technically a health issue, but I think some people put in its own thing. But yeah, like health issues, stress, or retirement, essentially, right? Like then there's a problem. Because another thing is too, why do we not think that they're doing stuff in their best interest, right? And Kelly even pointed out when Gura is leaving. Like clearly they're doing stuff that's in their best interest. It's like why? Now I don't want to be like complete like supporter, right? Like if they screw up in management, yeah, do you call them out on that? Like they're making management missteps. And the thing is, I think Yago is a rare case of like he's a CEO that will actually listen and learn from his mistakes, which is rare for CEOs. Yeah, like Gura's case is such an interesting one because I feel like the only way you can really test it is A, either just knowing Gura personally, or B, and like from the fan perspective, is probably just like if there was another company similar to Hollow that had the longevity as Hollow has, because there hasn't been one. Like they usually fold pretty early on, like if they try to do the whole Hollow model. And I think that's just because they're led by people. Because Yago's doing a thing which is smart. It's just smart business. And keeping his employees happy. He's keeping his talents happy. Right? And like that's the important thing. Because yeah, that's in the future that's going to be better for you. If you're just looking at the money, and that's another reason why I say like Gura leaving is actually probably more of a good sign for how Hollows ran, right, than not. Because if they're just entirely looking at profits and in the short term, you are locking Gura up, right? Like you're locking her up, throwing away the key, you're keeping her under contract and under any means necessary. The fact that they let her walk, I think says a lot more about the fact that like she's still not there. Because I even saw that like worry come up when like she was not streaming, right? And she was like gone for long periods of time. Like they were worried like, oh yeah, no, Hollow's just locked her up, right? And yeah, I think the fact that she's leaving, it's actually more of a good sign, weirdly enough, on how they ran. Because it shows even like their best people, like yeah, they'll let them walk if they feel like that's in their best interest. So yeah, like that's my take on it. Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't Ina say she wanted to get her thoughts together before she said anything? I think Kiara was the same way as well. So yeah, I think Myth will say stuff, and maybe like the ones who are notably fans of Gura, like Okayu, might say something, but I don't know. I know Fubuki posted something. I'll see if Kanata did, because Kanata actually I think is very much responded to all of them. I had Mane. God dang it. I gotta scroll down probably a little bit, but curious if she said anything. Those would have been close to I think 2D announcement. Yeah, no, I don't think she said anything about it. Maybe reply actually. I'll go look at reply. Oh god. Yeah, okay. Kanata did reply to it, so. Yeah, Kanata has talked about him a lot, but I think actually it was because they kept coming back to her, right? Like all the people who were left, like they were related to her in some way. Same Marin, and it's still continuing with freaking the girl leaving, because Umisi now has only Ina and Marin left. Which I don't know how that's gonna work. You can put "Thank you, George" at the end. That's nice. To be fair, I haven't been recommend that clipper who's like compiled everything. Well, they're also probably waiting. But I think by this point, like, yeah, everybody would have said the response to it, right? ASCII actually didn't say anything about it. That's fine, right? Not all of them are gonna make a response. Which I do want to see if she on it, because I checked like the first time, but like she didn't then. Oh, she did post a picture with, yeah, okay, she posted a picture of the announcement and then a fan art of her, of those two, and saying that she loved her. That's cute. It would be neat if they had one last interaction, but I think Shion only has like 8 days left, right? 26. Oh, she has like 10 days, but obviously her last stream's taken. So yeah, it would be very interesting to see how that goes. So we say been posting? Yeah, no, I think. Oh no, she has been posting. Okay.
Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving.
Girl does tweet quite a bit, at least recently, it seems. Let's see if we say anything about it. No, it doesn't look like she did, but that's fine.
Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it.
Oh yeah, freaking Okayu probably would say something. That would make sense. Kayu's been a Gura fangirl like for a while. Oh no, she actually didn't. Wow, that's surprising to me that she didn't say anything about Gura leaving. At least not yet. Maybe she'll say it on the stream or something. But I'm surprised like she didn't make a post about it. Yeah, I'm basically just scrolling through at this point. Just seeing the JP members, like which one of them did or didn't. Actually, I should just go to the original post, probably. That would be the smart thing to do. Let's see if Marin did it. I mean, Gura's a part of Umisi. But yeah, she also didn't say anything about it. At least on Twitter. Toa actually, I think, did. I'm pretty sure that was when I saw back in the replies. She did. I think she's like one of the first JP members. Or I'm just completely misremembering. Oh no, she's a blue heart. That's right. She didn't reply. Right? Yeah, she just did a blue heart. That's right. Okay. Okay, yeah, Polka just reposted the announcement. That's all she did. Shuba would think would have done it, but I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll make sure Shuba didn't. Yeah, I think at this point most of them actually didn't. Yago did. Yeah, I just want to go through the replies. See if there's anybody I'm missing. Yeah, go respond immediately on that. I feel his service in the force. There's a million voices to like cry out there. But yeah, you know it's a big deal when like even Polka did respond. What? Okay. God dang it. How did I not see that? Alright, well. Maybe it was just on post, it wasn't on replies, but. Yeah. Successful hate watch pending. Yeah, like, you know, it's a big deal when like every other VTuber under the sun, right, is freaking talking about it. Taki said stuff. Yeah, like every VTuber is like talking about it. Yeah, like that's the thing. It's just like, and what I think it is, like the main reason of being stressed is just stress at some point you just can't take it anymore, right? She literally, like, I think the reason why she didn't stream most of the time, and even she kind of referred to it when she made that repo stream, right, and why she wasn't there, was, I think it was mostly because she was stressed out, right? And I assume that's the same for all of her other hiatuses, right? She was like super stressed out. And it's like, yeah, when you're like that for 2 years and nothing's changing, I mean, at that point, the only thing you can do is leave, right? Like I think the smart business move is, yeah, just let her go, you know? Like, there's nothing you can do, right? I don't even know how you would handle that, right? If it's gotten to the point where stress is that bad, you know? Like, if I was Yago in that case, like, yeah, I would just be like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, the only option here for you to be happy, right, is just to leave. You know? Like, that's really all we can think of here, you know? Yeah, like, Hollow is old enough, like, even people, like, they've given it a try, right? And either they're like, I'm satisfied with what I've done here, right? Or like, oh, I have this medical condition now and I can't continue, right? Like, it's old enough that we're getting to that point. And we're in this cycle now. We didn't realize it with Aqua, right? We had no idea what we were in for, right? When Aqua did it first. But Aqua truly was the first in this long cycle of members finally leaving Hololive. It's been that long. And I think it does need to be reiterated, like, it's impressive how long most of these talents stayed, right? It is impressive. And I do feel like it is a testament to how well they still were treated, right? Again, probably not perfect treatment, right? There's always been complaints, but they've been treated decently. Decently enough to where they want to stay, right? Yeah. It's just, I think Hololive's reputation is going to be in the toilet for a while. Just because people are going to take the Gura leaving thing poorly. When, yeah, I think it's honestly just, like, it makes sense, too, of her being stressed out, right? Like, because I brought up on the last stream of her being, like, an uber introvert, right? And being the face of a company, essentially, right? Being the Mickey Mouse. Being the Mario. And the thing is also, like, she was just shot into that position, right? It wasn't by her own, like, she didn't want that, right? I'm sure she just wanted to, like, start pretty small first, right? And then go, and maybe, like, if she was then there after a while, right? I think it would have maybe not hit her as hard. I think she is an example, though, of someone who hit stardom too fast, right? She just immediately was in the front, you know? She was immediately the face of Hololive. Where initially that may have been like Sora, Fubuki, Korone, right? That then was thrusted upon Gura all of a sudden, right? And it seemed like from what I've heard around like the Ian debut, their expectations were very low. Like Ame's stream was like, her goal was that she wanted to hit 100,000 and she hit it in her debut stream, right? They vastly overperformed their expectations. Now, to be fair, I think COVID did help with that a little bit, and the fact that 2020 is the biggest like year in streaming, that probably helped. Because again, with that one chart I showed, it was in the first quarter, right? With 2021 being higher. So like I think it was actually like around the peak of streaming, right, where Myth debuted. Like early concurrent viewers and stuff like that, right? So I think that was why they had such a massive overperformance, right? Yeah, like she really was just thrust in that spot. She was like the most sub 2 member, right? From like her second month there, right, to essentially until she's left, right? And it's not even close. She still has the lead by like 750,000 or something like that. Like, it's insane. And it was even bigger, right? Like I think it was like over 2 million at one point, right? She had that big of a lead over people. And like that's hard. That's really hard to just be thrust in that spot, especially when like you're dealing with anxiety, right? You're already dealing with all these problems, this stress, this anxiety going in, right? And then you just get that thrusted upon you as like that extra stressor, that extra added pressure, because you're not only the face of a company, right? You're the face of basically an entire like subculture of streaming, right? Gura is like the face of that. It was like her and Iron Mouse. I feel like those were the two faces of VTubing. It was her and Iron Mouse. And yeah, like that's an immense amount of added pressure and like stress that you just get. And yeah, eventually you just have to say enough is enough, man. Like I can't take it anymore. And again, like I think it actually says more that they let Gura walk than have her locked up, you know, and keep her going. Because I think the smart move is like as a business, and if you're looking at it for the future, like yeah, letting Gura walk is probably the best thing you can do, right? I mean, it's like when sports teams like overextend, right? And like they make these crazy trades for star players, right? And at some point you just need to be like, enough is enough, we're rebuilding, right? We're just gonna ditch all the top stars we have, right? And we're gonna start over, we're gonna build some new ones, right? That is the smart thing to do. You don't want to like Hulk Hogan or John Cena it, right? Because then you have like no other stars. And that's kind of a problem. I mean, but again though, like I feel like they do have the star power to be fine for now, right? It's not like a 1995 WWF, right? Where they're like really struggling. Like they got the star power to keep going. But yeah, they are essentially losing like their John Cena or like their Hulk Hogan, right? Probably more like Cena or like Austin, like where they were still fine afterwards. But yeah, obviously like, or I guess like the star power around them was still like pretty good. But yeah, you lose like your top star, right? I think it's more like in line with like an Austin or Cena. Because when Cena like went back to like part-time, I think the star power was there at least a little bit. Yeah, even then though, like I feel like the star power is still like stronger than like even like those examples with Hollow. It's like I think they're even more like alright. You can say like Mario, like Suisa's like the Randy Orton or whatever, you know. That's the thing too also like that I feel like is very interesting and is gonna fit into like the like wrestling analogy. Is like, you know, you have people like Orton who's been there for like several years, like I think like 2 decades at this point. Yeah, over 2 decades. And then you have some people who will have like a couple year stint, right? And I think that's gonna carry over into this. I don't know about 2 decades. 2 decades a lot. But like they would have to start young, which some of them are. Yeah, I think 2 decades is gonna be a monstrous monstrous term. I mean, to be fair, I think Orton's also probably like in an elite few, right? That's also been there for like over 2 decades. Okay, I really think like the Undertaker and like Kane are some of the ones I can like think of. But yeah, like especially in content creation, it's why also like I would want another agency that's similar to Hollow, similarly ran, right, to them, to see like, yeah, if it's actually truly like stress. Because again, like I think the only way us as the viewer will know for sure is if it were to happen again. Like obviously I wouldn't want that to happen again, but like it'd be interesting as like my theory, like see my theory could work. That's the kind of annoying thing about like the psych side or like the social side, right, of this stuff, is like a lot of the times to figure out something it'd have to be something very unethical, and it's like, well, that sucks. I guess the kind of annoying thing about psych, it's just to figure out a lot about how the brain works at this point. It would have to be unethical stuff that needs to be done, or at least it would make it easier. Like, yeah, obviously we're not gonna do anything unethical. I mean, it's kind of like this though. I feel like this is a really good way of like showing how parasocial relationships work. Like, especially when like they hit their end, right? And even like different like levels of freaking parasocialness as well, like with how people came in. Oh boy, I'm gonna click on the Doom posting. Here we go. Yeah, someone brought that. Yeah, it covers stock. Um, yeah, because like they. What's I mean, Gura confirming how it's turned to a bad company? What? I don't think they said anything. What? I don't. I'm very confused. I think this is a clipper. Yeah, he's a clipper. Um, yeah, they've definitely focused more on IP. And like that's another thing I feel like that's kind of weird to do with streaming. Is because again, I feel like the stress that like Gura is dealing with. Like how do you like keep them? You know? like I don't know, like running it like Pokemon or Disney, like it doesn't work because you have them with like they're human, right? It's not like with Pokemon or like even like Disney where they can make these humanoid characters, right? It doesn't matter, like they don't have to deal with stress or anything, right? They can just draw them as is, right? They can just do all that. But like with streaming, like even still, right, you're gonna probably only get like a couple years out of these people often. So like it is odd, I feel like the way they're running it. Yeah, if your priorities in stream, not do studio stuff, not really too interested in merchandising as an IP, there's really no strong incentive to stay. Which I think is also true, because I think it's true in the way of like them being like, oh yeah, I'm moving on, you know, like, because I think that's more what Fauna had. Like Fauna didn't really align with any of those, you know. So I think it was really just her like, I just want to go indie. But like they're doing it as like a catch-all, right? America turned it woke. Nice, dude. I still don't like, I don't fully agree with the like they're switching to IP. Like, yeah, sure, they've said that they're focusing more on IP, but they still have all these restrictions on, like, you have to stream for like 3 days a week. I mean, I'm sure that's been like lifted, like it says on the sheet, but I'm sure like obviously there's probably been many examples of them breaking it. But like it's also just weird to me, like why would they sign Gigi and like Shiori and then make a music branch and then not have people with musical backgrounds, or like at least not tell them that they're a musical branch? That just seems odd for me. But yeah, I think their stock is crashing because they're like, oh, their top person's leaving, gotta sell. Like, I don't think it's like they're seeing the inner workings. I think it's just like they saw the top person leaving and be like, oh, well, that's gonna hit them a lot, and then yeah, they crashed. I really don't think it's anything too crazy. Because again, like, it doesn't make sense to me, because even like Crony has said like, well, I guess she said like she doesn't think the company's going in a bad direction. I think that's what she said. And like I feel like just looking at it from the talent side, it just doesn't make sense. If you look at talent testimony that we've gotten, right, that they've said, it doesn't make any sense. Why like it's happening like this? And like I feel like, as Kelly pointed out, like everybody's reasons for leaving could be different, right? Every single one of them. There could be some similarities, but every single person's reasons for leaving could be different. Because I strongly believe Gura's main reason she's leaving is because she's stressed out. If she literally made Reflect, I feel like, as her voicing those feelings, and she made that in 2021, which means she probably wrote it like even earlier than that. Like, I don't think this is a change in company direction, at least for Gura's like reason for leaving. At least for her main strongest point, right? I really don't think so. I really think it was all the stress she got from being the face of the company and kind of being thrust in that position, right? Because like, obviously also she can't control like, oh yeah, I'll get the most subs now, you know? Because like, yeah, maybe Cover like would be like, oh, you're the most sub 2 person now, putting you as the face. It's like, it's not like she was like, oh yeah, give me all these subs, right? I'm gonna get the most subs and be the face. Like, she didn't know that, sign up for it. It's like, that's another issue I have with it. Because yeah, they are looking from the business side, but just for me personally, looking at it from the talent side, it just doesn't make sense to me. And then being like, oh, they're less on streaming. Again, why would they get Gigi, who's literally a streamer? Like, I think Chihaya was too. Why are they getting streamers? Right? Why are they still signing on streamers then? That doesn't make sense to me. If they're focusing less on streaming, then like, yeah, I think they would focus more on idols. Which, I mean, yeah, sure, some of them were. Why do we still have streamers then? Because like that's the main thing that just like is stopping me from fully believing that. Like, why are they getting people who can't sing, like can't dance really, but are good streamers? Like, why are they getting those people? Right? Like, I'm sure they have to care about streaming still a little bit. Right? Like, it's just so odd to me. Like, people are like, oh yeah, no, they're dismissing streaming. And even like, again, Suisse literally like referenced them having the idea of doing a streamer only, and like, or like someone rather go into streaming and someone rather go into idol stuff. So like, why would you say they don't care about that then? If that's literally an idea they've had, which I wish they have done it, but it seems like they haven't, which is unfortunate. But I really hope they push for that. Like, that's the thing that's stopping me from the whole, like, yeah, no, they don't care about streaming, right? Or, like, they're starting to care less about it. I mean, yeah, maybe it is still a transition period, right? Maybe. But, like, yeah, I don't know, man. Again, we know, like, 5% of, like, what's going on, right? So, like, the speculation's, like, pointless anyway. It's just, I basically am just trying to be the other side because I know there's a bunch of doomerism and stuff. I'm just giving my takes on it, so like think about stuff. Yeah. Like, I just don't want people to become reactionaries is the thing. I want people to like think it through. And like, yeah, I guess Yago's saying like they want to focus on IP. But like the thing is, like, you can still do that through streaming. And like streaming, if anything, is another avenue towards obtaining that IP. Right? And like clearly the talents like streaming. So like why would they get rid of it? I mean, I guess you could say like, oh, the freaking like the donors or whatever, but like I really don't think it's at that point. At least not yet anyway. The reason why I give Yago so much grace is because he's actually like a rare breed of CEO, right? Who's like seems to care more about his employees, right? Seems to be like listening to the fans, right? He's a rare breed of CEO. That's why I'd give him more grace. Now again, like if they do have a screw up, call them out on it. But like it just doesn't make sense for me either for Hollister to be like, oh yeah, our management's better, but then also like they're switching gears and Hollister's is still more focused on streaming. It seems like it all just seems very odd. That's what I mean. Like it's like the FNAF lore, man. There's so much stuff that like contradicts each other. I feel like that's why like I always bring up like we know probably like 5% because we really don't know what's going on, you know. We probably never will. Right? I just still hate the argument though, like, oh, like Yago sold his soul. Like, I don't think he's John Cena yet, dude. And it's very clear, I feel like, with this another problem with them saying like, oh, changes in direction or whatever. Shion might have said something in hers, but yeah, Gura didn't even like make a reference to like what could have been a difference in direction, right? If anything, she praised the fact that she became a better dancer and like sung in front of an audience, right? It helped her come out of her shell. If anything, she praised the direction. But yeah, she immediately then went and talked about how she was stressed out and had a lot of pressure. I think it was pressure she said specifically, but I feel like you can pretty easily like infer from there that like she was stressed out, right? So like I think her, like, she was an inevitability, like Gura, honestly. And as I said before, her walking I think says more about how Hollow is right now than if they kept her. And like, yeah, I guess they could do it for the like PR thing, but like I still don't think that would make sense as a PR move. Again, I feel like you're doing it as like a short-term thing. Oh, Ko's talking about him. Yeah, because I think Ko made a video on Aquas, and he sometimes make a post or something. It's like there's like an Ina clip, I don't know, it's crazy. There's also a bunch of Ina clippers. Like, yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. You know? And again, like I've said so many times as well, like it'll be very obvious when the alarm bells are gonna be ringing. Because yeah, I will amend my opinion, right? If those people start leaving. But like so many of them are happy to still be there. Like, and some of them I feel like that like streaming. Like I think Luna really likes streaming and she says it gives her stability. So like I feel like she'd be someone who would be against like them not streaming or whatever. I don't know if Pecora's talked about it. I mean, Pecora's talked about like how it's changed a bit. But I'm gonna be honest, I think it's more just because they put the restrictions on it just so they could have sponsors. Like, hey, we kind of want sponsors, so you know, we gotta dial it back a little bit so we can make money. Like it's just kind of something they had to do. Like I think that's probably more what it was, but you know, it's just so odd to me. Like Kanata and Lamy still obviously want to be there. Bae still wants to be there for a bit. Like even Shiori, who I feel like also is especially more on the streaming side, says like, oh, there's a few things I want to do and then I'll leave, right? Once I'm satisfied. So like it still feels like she's clearly wants to be there. You know? And yeah, like I guess like maybe the bonds, right? Like is what's keeping together, or like the interaction with chat, as like Gura said. It's one of the reasons she stayed. Yeah, I guess also another like concern about it getting really bad is like if anyone who debuted in the past, like since like 2023 probably would have left, but yeah, none of them have done that yet. Yeah, I also saw like someone's pointing out like, oh, ID should have like more, or like they should give E and JP more creative freedom like they did ID, but like I don't know what they let ID get away with that they don't let with JP and EN. To be completely honest, I'm actually not entirely sure. I mean, yeah, maybe that's why none of the stars will let either, because they basically can do whatever. But like even like Narissa said, like there's no restriction as long as like they don't take the VOD down, right? Like as long as anything's not against TOS, like they can do whatever. You know, like Marian and Botan have, I think, had several streams with each other that have been taken down. There's at least one, right? It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't make sense, right? There's so many contradictory things that, like, I don't think we can make an assessment and be like, oh, well, it's obvious they're doing this, right? I mean, I guess, like, when Yago was saying, like, oh, we'll form IP, but, like, I don't think he even really said how he'd do it. I think, like, towards the end, like, he said he'd do the metaverse stuff, but, like, I think in, like, that beginning or middle ground, I don't think he really talked about, like, oh, what would that look like? I think he just said, like, build up IP, which, again, you can't really do that very easily, I feel like, by only doing concerts. It's why the freaking live streaming is important. Just because, yeah, you build an audience from that. Yeah. Like, I think it just makes more sense, and like I don't think there's any reason to like dive into, like, I guess I've been spending 2 streams on it, but like, and like I feel like I always come to this realization, because I think I do with Fauna too, like I feel like there's never any reason to come to these speculations right when we know nothing. Because like it is just like the FNAF lore, man, like it's so little, and like yeah, we can throw ideas out there, but like, I mean, also another issue though, right, is like if you're just blindly hating the company, then you're just screwing over the talents who want to stay there, because you just are giving the company a bad look, which then people are like, oh, well, I'm less hesitant to watch these people then. So you're also just kind of screwing them over as well. I am curious though how it's looking on the JP side, or if this is like an EN thing. I mean, Gura left, so it is probably much stronger on the EN side. But I'm sure it's a little bit on the JP side. But yeah, Suisei also said she's happy to be there. Like, there's just so many members that say like they're really happy to be there. Or like it's really stable for them to be there, you know? Like, because they literally have a member who was on a really bad VTuber agency, so I think if they would know anything about, they would know a thing or two about bad VTuber agencies, right? And I'm always going back to that, like, once we say them bringing up like, oh, like we were thinking of bringing them going in for streaming or going in for idol stuff, right? You wouldn't even have the idea, I feel like, if you didn't care about streaming even a little bit, right? Like, you just would dismiss the idea immediately, but it seemed like they were actually, like, seriously considering it and, like, going to do it. Unfortunately, I think they still haven't, but yeah, it's something I feel like they should do. Is there a way to see like when a page was last updated? Yeah. And the thing is, like, I'm sure these like welcome skills still like aren't that different. Experience as a streamer, right? Like, I think these welcome skills probably aren't that different. You know? Also, this says streaming career also. Like, again, this one could be old, because like they haven't updated this in a while. Very possible, because it still has freaking like Gura's not even in 3D on this. So yeah, it could be old, but it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, at least to like go full ballistic, I think that's my thing anyway. Like, it doesn't make sense to go full like off the deep end or whatever, right? This thing is also, and like she already said it too when Fauna left, they can choose to deny stuff. Like, they can decline stuff. They're not forced to do stuff. It's like, that's another thing too. Like, if they were to focus more on the IP and like all that stuff, then yeah, they would force them to do that, but they can choose not to do it. And that was a recent one, right? That was literally when like Fauna, right? Like when Fauna was leaving, she already brought that up. Yeah. And like, I feel like even if, again, like nothing's going to cover, like their reputation is just gonna be in the toilet regardless, because people will just make up a thing of it, right? Honestly though, like if they crash and burn, like that's fine, because all the members, like, or at least most of them, that wouldn't be there till like the very end, right? Because obviously Niji still has some members, like they'd be able to collab with each other again, you know? So like, it's whatever. The main thing I would miss is like their music, right? That'd be the biggest thing, right? Because I do like the music a lot. So that would suck to lose, but like, I think that's mainly it. Like, I just don't see how you can see like all the talents clearly being happy to be there. Like, at least like several of them, right? I'm sure some of them probably still aren't the happiest, right? Or like still are dealing with their own issues. I mean, even now, right? Like Suicide taking a break, Roja's taking a break, I was taking a break. Like there's a few of like taking breaks, right? And like I just don't get how you can see them very clearly still being like either fine with how the company's going or like still willing to be there, and they think it's in their best interest to stay there, right? And think something like go like DEFCON 1 or whatever, right? It just seems a little crazy to me, because yeah, just whenever like I've seen testimony, like they still seem like pretty chill, pretty calm about it. And yeah, I think Gura, Chloe, Mumang, like they're definitely, I don't think, from this whole like going public thing. I think Ame is full on like she had burnout. Because like yeah, I think if she wanted to do the studio stuff like she wanted, and like seeing how she was doing afterwards, like it seemed to me like indie would just made the most sense for her. And I think she was kind of burnt out a little bit, which I think now she's burnt out again, which is not great. But Fauna, I think, is another one who wanted to do her own thing, and again, like none of the stuff that like Hollow is big on as far as like a company goes, like I don't think it really interested her too much, or like it wasn't enough of a factor, right, for her to stay. So she went, and then I think Aqua's the same way too. I think Aqua is a case where, you know how with like Shiori and Bae said like, oh, I have a few things I still want to do and then leave. I think Aqua was that way. I think Aqua felt like she accomplished everything she wanted to do in cover, and then she left. So yeah. I just hate how, because like I feel like if everything turns out to be fine, it just shows how reactionary people are getting, and it's not great. Like I implore people to have patience in this, you know, like, and just not make assumptions. So I feel like when you make assumptions, because I'm not even completely sure if I'm sure I'm making assumptions, right? But like it's more of giving another like idea that's not been said really. It's like more of just like that FNAF lore, right? Of like there's so many different ways you can spin it and take it, right? And I'm just taking it one way. Other people are probably taking it other ways, right? More negatively. I'm taking it more like positively. Just again, also like girl leaving, like it just says more like about them not keeping their their talents locked up, right? If they let Gura walk. Like if they let Gura walk, I feel like they don't let anyone walk, except maybe Suisei. But even then, Suisei has been like pretty headstrong, I feel like, you know, and like stood up for herself a lot. So like even then, like I think Suisei would see right through that and be like, nope, I'm out of here. Same with Callie. Like the two I feel like would have have said if there's any mistreatment, they're gone. Right? So like if Gura walks, like then they'll let anyone walk, right? Like they'll let anyone go. Like they're not locking them up. That's what that says to me. Yeah, I don't know. Because again, it's just so weird to say your reasoning is changes in direction and then not even like hint at it really, right? And if anything, like support it, right? And say like, oh, it helped me, and like I went from like being scared to sing in the shower to like now performing on stage, right? It just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't add up with how I see it. And like just with the other piece of evidence that stick out. Because yeah, that's another thing too, like going back with math thing, just pieces of evidence that'll stick out more to you, where with others, like it doesn't matter as much. And yeah, for me, I have pieces of evidence that stick out to me. Again, like it's not like a full defense of cover, right? They've made slip-ups and you should call them out when they do make slip-ups. But yeah, like it's... Yeah, like I hate it. Yeah. Like, I just don't see... I think it would take several years for the reputation to come back. But even then, like, right, if it's the whole, like, oh, this is the work cycle, right? And EM members are probably going to stick around more for streaming, probably be more likely to be like, all right, I didn't want to go indie. Right? Jesus. Like, yeah. I feel like also you can't use number of people who graduated, right, as like a example. Because also Mume and Chloe left due to health reasons. I think Sana was also another one. So like you at least have to reduce those numbers a little bit. When talking about like people who left. And yeah, I think Aqua is one who did everything she wanted. And she's ready to move on. Shion, I think, also was like a little bit of like stress and stuff too. Shion, I think, has a lot of stuff going on in her life right now, right? I think she was also one who was on and off like for the past like year or so, right? I think even longer actually, because didn't she have like 2 years as well? So, like, I think her and Shion are like, Gura and Shion are in like a very similar situation to where they're leaving. It would be very interesting though, because I feel like Gura and Shion are like the first like JPEN duo to like leave, so I am interested to see if like that's gonna carry over at all. Because obviously I'm sure Shion and Gura formed a friendship out of that. Or at least are able to contact each other. Yeah. Also, like, Mari still not streamed yet? I guess, like, is a thing, though, where she could have just had a... She's taking, like, a mental break. That is perfectly, like, that is entirely possible. The only reason, like, I'm, like, a little concerned just because, like, I feel like the Discord usually, like, talks about that stuff. Like, oh, they're going on hiatus, but... There's nothing really said about Maureen's, like, thing. I mean, she was at, like, Callie's birthday and stuff, too, right? And I think she still tweets. I think I was literally on her Twitter, and she, like, still has tweeted recently. It's like, she's doing fine, but... Yeah, maybe she's just, Oh, okay, she literally just said that she'll be collabing with Pecora, Grony, and Shion tomorrow, so, yeah, like... She's still doing stuff, right? Just not on her own channel for some reason. Again, maybe it's like still helping with their mental, right? She's also might be stressed right now. Yeah, Marian's also had her own mental struggles. Because I think I don't remember who said it, but after like her 3D live, she seemed to gain a lot of confidence. I think it was Suisse. Like they seem to notice like a confidence boost in her. Like, I think she didn't feel like a true idol until, like, she did that, and then, yeah, like, she really started carrying herself. I will say that, I feel like we really need Suisse in this case, because Suisse is really good at being so blunt. right? And I feel like people need bluntness, but unfortunately, Suicide is not coming back for another like month or like at least like 3 weeks. Unfortunately, so right, it's like 3 weeks basically. Oh, it's 2 weeks actually. You know, if I can math and just say plus 14, Jesus. Yeah. It's just like whenever I'm looking at the evidence I think sticks out the most, like it just doesn't make sense to me with like the other narratives people are saying, like it doesn't add up. So I feel like it contradicts what other people are saying. And like, yeah, maybe that's not Yago's doing, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, even like when they gave well wishes, right? Like, and the people who like posted about Gura leaving, like it still seemed like oh, we're going on without you and stuff like that, right? Like they also still want to be in Hollow. We'll still support you wherever, right? I wonder though if it took like this huge wave of grads for Gura to finally be like, all right, I'm gonna do it as well. I do wonder. Or if it was like, it just happened to like coincide with this and the time like she basically like snapped, or like the straw that broke a camel's back hit, right? Like then she made the announcement. Yeah, I think Shion's probably the most complicated as to why like she left. Because I feel like Shion, like, it was a mixture of health stuff, and then maybe, like, with how the company was, like... Because I know she brought, like, the Forgive Me medicine, like, whole thing. I think she basically like, well, that's, like, icing on the cake, right? She already made her decision before that, right? Because, I mean, I think that song was made for when she was leaving, right? It's like, yeah, obviously that was made before that, so yeah, I don't know. Because again, to me, it just seems like it'll be so obvious when we should start ringing the alarm bells for Hollow. Like, it doesn't even have to be like scandals have to break out, right? It just has to be like this person left and it's like, oh, that's not great. Right, like the Fubuki, Kali, Luna, Marin, right? Like Suisei. I never threw Suisei in there, but yeah. I'd say Miko within these next like 3 years, like before she hit 10 years. Because it seems like she has her 10-year planned. Like 10th anniversary. But then I think after that she said like, I think she was kind of questioning how much longer she'd go. So if she leaves before like her 10th anniversary, then I think that would be a little concerning. Be like, yeah, like I feel like it'd be fairly obvious, and I always stand by that. And like, yeah, I guess you can argue like this many people leaving could be an obvious sign, but I do agree with people that like I think some of these were like inevitable or like not too surprising when you really think about it. Like I think Gura's surprising just on the fact that like people would have thought they would have locked her up, right? And like she would have been a lifer essentially, but yeah, no, I think her walking, like I guess it could show incompetence, but like I think it truly is like she was stressed out, and like I mean I don't know what you could do, right? To like give her even like I feel like 2 years, right? She was trying to battle it and like get over it, but seems like she couldn't do it. You know, she just has to get out. That's her solution. And like I feel like it makes a lot more sense of it being a graduation too. Like I think if it wasn't stress, I guess if company direction also I can see graduation. Yeah, I don't know what really would have been the case to give her like affiliate. Because it makes sense even for Stress to just completely cut that part of her life off, you know? Just completely cut it off. That makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think there was a path to affiliate with Gura, unfortunately. Like in any interpretation. Unless I guess maybe 8chan was still there and the Stress thing was there. Because that's the thing also, I think if 8chan was there, like I feel like some people are like, oh yeah, a lot of these people have stayed. Or like she saw the writing on the wall like long before this, but like I don't know, like yeah, I guess her reason, because I know she like took a hiatus for like, it was for like her family or something, right? And then she just announced her retirement like then. It's like, yeah, that was interesting, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like that one would be the most plausible of it. It's just, again, why would you say changes in direction and then make no reference to the changes that like you don't like, right? And like maybe even potentially like praise them, like at least like the singing dancing part, you know, and like the like being able to perform on stage, right? Like it just seems weird to me. Like I do think it is just a catch-all term, like as Kelly said. It's just what they're always gonna give. And yeah, like I do think though, like it's starting to bite cover in the butt. Like they need to start like at least every once in a while telling people the actual reason why these people are leaving. Because if they are using it as a catch-all term, right, and everything's still fine, you know, right, the company's not necessarily changing, right, like they need to be more transparent with some of these next people who leave. Like they have to. That's actually a good like conclusion too, because I think I like opened up with that part too. With like covered, I think, using a bit leisurely the them leaving, like their reason for leaving, right? Yeah. It's just for me, like it doesn't. There's just too many things that contradict to like make any sense of it. That's my final piece, and like I'm kind of hoping we get more testimony. Just because like I'd like to know how things are currently, how people feel currently, but like that's probably not going to happen. And again, like, I'm sure they're kind of annoyed at this point of constantly getting asked this, right? But I think it's more of just like, yeah, they're really like our messengers, essentially, right? Like, they're the best shot we have of knowing what's going on. Or like, if we should be concerned. Which, yeah, with Callie, it really makes it seem like we shouldn't be. You know? But I could also see, like, with the changing direction, like, oh, well, she's like more on the idols sphere, same as we say. It's like, I'll put my hands up and be like, all right, like I'll wait, you know. Even though like Shiori has said like they can decline stuff that comes to them if they want, and also she has a few things she still want to do, so like it makes me feel like she still wants to be there. Because I think even her, right, she's like the lowest subbed out of the people who debuted since 2023. Like, she'd be fine going indie, right? So like I think she still wants to be there. Like if it would be in her best interest to leave, I think she would leave, right? And I think that's another important thing too. If it would be in their best interest to leave, I think a lot of them would leave. So also, and I didn't even point it out either, Narissa literally, like, the stream that she had like an hour, half hour before, she literally said she was so blessed and like so grateful to be in Hololive. Like, that's another one that I feel like, yeah, you know, it's like that's another person who likes being there. Like, I don't know, man. Like, again, like I think the cover stock is just business owners being like, oh, their biggest name is gone, drop it. Like, I don't think it's anything too serious. Because also they were saying like it was a huge crash, but what's the percentage? Record. Let me see. It's going back up.
So you're on YouTube watching how to make popcorn, but did you know there's a YouTube music app where you can listen to podcasts
like,
about popcorn's dark history?
I guess it crashed from the week of March 21st to 31st. It like crashed before that, but I think that's because they knew of Gura's announcement. Right. Yeah, like their stock is about where it was in November of 2024. It happened March 10th. Was that HoloFest maybe? Around then? That's probably why. Yeah, it's climbing back up too. I mean, obviously we should probably wait a little bit before saying anything, but like, yeah, they're all saying like they plummeted, but like it doesn't seem like it's that big of a jump, right? Like just looking at it. I guess they started at 20 when they first went public. They hit an all-time low though in October of 2024. Or actually, is this lower? In May of 2024, they hit an all-time low. What happened there? Was that maybe when they got word of Aqua's announcement, maybe? And then with this one, it was like Fauna and Chloe's? Because that's the case also, like... Yeah, those drops are like just as big. If they got word of those, right? Like, I think those drops were... it might have been slightly bigger, this one. It was like a $2 drop. $2.50 drop, and then this was... it was like a $5 drop. So yeah, it was like double of what they had for. Again, I think they'll be fine. Because again, like, it's not even like it's an all-time low or anything, right? Like, they had this in like November of last year, this amount. So like, I think they're fine. As long as it doesn't crash like an insane amount more. Like, can go back down to their all-time low, right? I think they'll be fine. But yeah. Yeah, this is actually, I guess, a good way, like a good measurement then, huh? If doing that. Yeah, it was like the week of March 21st. Or in, like in the middle of March 28th is when it like started dropping. Going to March 31st. April 7th, it went down again. Actually, it's gone up, I think, since the announcement, technically. But yeah, that was probably like them getting word of the announcement, selling it like on the inside. That's probably what this one was from. But it is weird how they're like, oh yeah, they plummeted after the news. Like, that was technically before it. But alright. I guess I could show it since it's like here, but like, the announcement was yesterday, right? And like, you're looking at March 21st. Like, I assume this is around when the announcement happened, right? And like, maybe some other like stockholders got word of it like here. But yeah, this is like in March when like the announcement first happened. So for them to say like it plummeted like after the fact, like, or like it had like it plummeted alongside it. I mean, maybe with... They have 500 employees? Dang. They're understaffed too, that's crazy. Yeah, like it is probably... It did probably crash with the news, but... Like, yeah, it didn't immediately go back down again. You know? And if you look at the total thing, like, they're here, right? They've been down here and here. Again, I don't know when these points were. Like, this is like, I think, Hollow GTA. Well, I think this is Ame's announcement. Like, dude, like, Hollow GTA was like... Oh, no, this was... Hollow GTA was, like, over here. This is probably, like, Aqua's announcement then, actually. Or, like, her leaving. So, yeah, actually, the stock will probably go back down again once Gura is gone. Now I'm thinking about it. Let me look at, like, when the... I mean, when Fauna left and, like, Chloe left, there wasn't a huge spike. Well, it was actually, maybe with Chloe. Yeah, it seemed like it dropped sharply. When did Chloe leave? Chloe... When did she leave? January 26th. No, that would have been like 2 weeks after. When was this drop then? Maybe Shion? Shion and Mume, maybe? It might have been that, and I think it shot back up for Hollowfest, right? And then this is Gura. So yeah. Yeah, it might have been like a Shion Mume thing it dropped, which that's another thing too, is that one dropped full on like $4. This one also was like $4 drop. I guess like you measure more in percentage, but I'm not a stock guy, so I don't know. So technically be a bigger loss for Gura because it's a bigger percentage probably, but I don't know, man. Yeah, it's crazy how they have 500 employees and they're still like understaffed. I mean, they must have to have like a lot of people then. I mean, that clip was also I think a few months old, so maybe they have the members now, but and the employees now, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I am about 15 minutes over. Good thing I have a 4-day weekend after tomorrow. I do have to go to school tomorrow, but that is I have a 4-day weekend after that. So hopefully we can like lighten up a bit. I will probably on Friday, because I'm sure there'll be testimonies coming out. Like I always say testimonies like it's a court case, but they will probably talk about it. We'll see. And then I'll probably talk about it a little bit on Friday. Maybe it'll be a third stream dedicated to this talk. Yeah, like for me personally, like it just doesn't line up with the talent testimony and like what they've also thought about adding and stuff too. Like, why would you even entertain the idea of having like people joining on stream only if you didn't care about streaming like at least a little bit? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like sure, like you can say like, oh, like they're focusing more on building IP. But like I think they also recognize like streaming is a big part of that. So they still are gonna let them stream. When again, like it's more also you want to keep the talent happy, so it's not you just cut them streaming off, right? Because then you're gonna have them leave because of that. I don't know if people are like, oh yeah, no, they're gradually like taking it away and like putting less and less of an emphasis on it, so like when they take it away it's not that big of a deal, but like I don't think that's gonna happen. Or like if it does happen, then yeah, a lot of people are leaving. Like it'd be a dumb business move. Like yeah, you basically want to have people with like all idle backgrounds, if that's the case. And also that one person who left, like I saw graduate, if they're becoming like the next PEN gen, that's another streamer. That's becoming a Hololive member. I mean, I'm sure they'd have like a great singing voice or something, right? But like they were streaming, so. And again, why would they sign GG? Like respectfully, why would they sign GG if they're trying to make a make an idol business. GG does not fit that. And I think also they would be a lot more like, if they so much worry about the idol image, they wouldn't be, I think, more open. Like they wouldn't care if Hollow Stars and live collab, or even just male and female collabs in general. There's another one I was gonna bring up too. Yeah, like Mari being freaking absolute bonkers, like JP being bonkers, ID being bonkers, right? Stars being like bod killers, right? Like they wouldn't like do that, you know? Like I don't think they would anyway. Also, I feel like if you want to get as much revenue as possible, like you wouldn't let them take breaks. You wouldn't let them take breaks. You would just keep working them, like, and streaming them, like, because I'm thinking of this from like the greedy CEO way, and I'm not sure like if maybe people on the other side are, because it does seem like when people say like, oh, Yago sold out, like they're still giving some grace to Yago, right? Like that he's a good CEO, but like it's the greedy like donors, right, at that point. But like they still take breaks and all that, right? So like it just seems weird to me that they're moving in a direction. Like I just don't see it. And again, I will change my thought if stuff comes out, you know? I will change my thought process. But like for now, I just don't see it with everything else around it. And it's why I'm not being a reactionary about it. You know? I think it's a good time to like test yourself on not being a reactionary, right? Like maybe put the internet down a little bit. Maybe I'd say think about it like a little bit, but don't think about it too much like what I'm doing, because I feel like you get to a point, right, where you drive yourself insane. It's that freaking Mr. Hippo like death quote or whatever. Yeah, like maybe put a little bit of thought into it, right? But don't go too far in the deep end where you're just looking at a bunch of other stuff. Like I don't even know if I'm gonna look at other people's stuff on it, because like yeah, sure, you get the other side of it. I guess they could bring up evidence as well, like that I haven't been aware of. But I feel like also if you bring up like the relevancy matters, because I know people bring up like the one Crony clip, but the one where she said like she doesn't think the company's going in a bad direction, right? Like that was after that one staff clip. So like I feel like also relevancy matters. So if they bring up like older stuff, like I don't, because I think most of the stuff I brought up has been like recent. I think it's been basically since the Fauna and Chloe leaving. I think maybe there's stuff from a little before, but like I don't think there's anything super old that I'm using as like evidence to like mold my idea. I guess the only thing that I'm not doing is like them like, oh, like we're all in on billion IP, and like the metaverse stuff, I don't get it. That is one thing I don't get the metaverse stuff. But it seems like he's very like he really wants to do that, and like I guess like it entirely depends on how that's gonna like play in, right? The freaking, because what is it, Whole Life Alternative, is that the metaverse thing like they want to make? Yeah, I don't know, man. It just, oh, I like on the about page it's in Japanese. That's awesome. Yeah, let me just see the about on this. Oh, I can't even copy and paste this actually. Can I? I think I can screenshot it, right? Just screenshot it and just translate it, just like have an idea. I go every time like I should end it. I then don't. Can DeepL take images? Take files, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't look like it takes images. That's annoying. I think Google Translate takes images. Yeah, it does. Just get a vague idea of it. Japanese detected. Alternate world creation project depicts a world that may possibly exist. All right, well that was still super vague. Although it seems like with this, there hasn't been news since 2023 on it. It's like, I don't know, at least on the website. Yeah, it's made manga. Yeah, it does suck though, like the Hollow JP is like the only one that they have manga of, which is kind of, that sucks. But yeah, I guess this is like Hololive in an alternate timeline, an alternate world. I think that's what they were getting at with that, and I don't think that was also the metaverse stuff. I think that's a different thing that's not on the website for some reason. Yeah, that's like the one thing that like I'm kind of, well, nah. But yeah, Yago seemed to like be very interested in that. It's just like I don't see what the positives of it is. Like I'd fail to see the appeal of it. That's my main thing. Like how would this benefit them? Right. But like that's my main thing. And yeah, I like even saying like, oh, they're gonna focus more on IP than like streaming. Like I feel like streaming is still a big part of getting IP, right? Because it brings in that initial audience, right? Or like audience from like the content sphere, right? Like the streaming sphere, content creation sphere. It brings them from there to have a wider outreach, wider influence. So I feel like even from like a business point though, it just makes sense to keep streaming and like still have like a decent priority on that, right? Like it wouldn't make sense to me to just cut it out or like be like, oh yeah, no, you're not streaming anymore. That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, like even from like a business point, you know. But I mean, to be fair, right-wing ideology is self-destructive in nature, and a lot of businesses do that because they only look short-term. Like, I don't know. Even short-term though, I feel like it'd be a terrible idea. Because like, say even if you just want to like eliminate streaming like immediately, like, dude, like I feel like half of them would leave. At least, you know? Like that would be an issue. Yeah, like my take on it ultimately is just like it's just like the FNAF lore, man. There's too many variables, I feel like, to fully like marry yourself to an idea. And I even said that with like the fauna stuff too. It's like, you just don't marry yourself to like a thing that's happening, you know, because like you still have no idea, right? We still have no idea as fans. Like the closest we got basically is the talents themselves on their streams. So yeah, just don't marry yourself to any ideas. I just basically gave another perspective, right? And other evidence to bring up with it. Yeah, I'll get out of here. So I might stream every Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday at 7:30 p.m. EST. You can see all my past streams at youtube.com/IronWillVods. And if you're watching the VOD, my Twitch, Twitter, and Blue Sky are all IronWill6464. So yeah. See you Friday. Maybe talk a little bit more about the stuff going to cover again. Maybe do a game. And it'd be more lighthearted. Yay, woo. Bye.